a little too close. Okay, everybody. Thank you all for being here again. Um, I am so excited to help you guys do your vein of gold. What we're going to be working on tonight is we're going to be working more on discovering more of our vein of gold. Um, and so what I'm going to be doing tonight is we're going to be digging a little bit deeper into ourselves, into what makes us tick as actors. We're going to be doing a couple of new tasks, but I want to keep the focus on the vein of gold. So actually, I want to know how everybody's week was. So if you guys can just kind of check in with me real fast, just in the chat, just say I had a good week or hello, I'm doing great. Just send me a little message and I'll read them as we go. Okay, so just send me a little message in the chat.
To the
What's that?
to the chat.
Yeah, just the chat on the right hand side. Sorry, guys.
Whoops.
Okay.
You
Okay.
oh,
Okay. So what I want to start off with is I hope you guys had a good week. I know we're all on lockdown and all that. Thank you, Carol, for saying you enjoyed the I Remembers. Great. I hope the I Remembers and I hope the script reading is going well for you guys. Okay. But great. Jessica said, I remember isn't a daily habit, but I did do 2 long ones. Great, great. Those are all great, guys. And thank you guys for I'm going to spend my whole time reading. No, I promise I won't do that. So I want to start this week off with, I want to bring Rebecca to the floor because she mentioned something to me about synchronicity and about how she found my book. Rebecca, will you share real briefly how you found my book?
I sure will. My aunt was a writer and an actress, and she passed away. And I inherited everything that she had. We had talked before she died. She was in the middle of a script. And so after a while, I went to the box. I opened it up, and there was Stephen's book right on top.
Wow.
And so I texted him and I said, did my aunt ever take a class with you or go to a lecture? And he said, no. And I said, well, she had done everything in your book that she should have done. She did the I Remembers. She had collaged a notebook. She did synopses of characters that she used. And I was just led to Stephen by my aunt, and I'm forever thankful.
Wow. Rebecca, thank you so much for taking the stage like that and sharing that. Because one of the things that I like to talk about when I teach is synchronicity. And I'm going to just start right off the bat by talking about synchronicity. Synchronicity is, I explain it in the book, and I call it lights, camera, and action. And you guys might know it as the law of attraction, but basically it's the fortuitous intermeshing of events in an unexplainable but noticeable way. And what you guys are going to start seeing as we progress through this course, you guys are going to start seeing a lot of synchronicity. And what I suggest you do is when you experience synchronicity, you write it down in your notebook, because what that really means is that means how much energy you're putting into this and that it's paying off. And it's very vital in this course to pay attention to the synchronicities. Synchronicities are like, I'm at the right place at the right time. I met this person who's making an independent film. They sent me a script. Those are synchronicities. And if you're not aware of them, you actually can dismiss them and discount them. And even sometimes when you are aware of them and you are focused, you still could miss them. So this week, pay close attention to synchronicities that you have in relationship to your acting career. Okay, does that make sense to everybody? And it might be a film festival. It could be a play reading. I will give you an example of synchronicity that happened to me this week, and it involves one of my really good friends on here, Jessica Jennings. I was at a New York musical theater conference, and I had mentioned that my play was done at her parents' theater. And I was talking to a producer, and she goes, and I said, yeah, and the theater owner's daughter directed The Green Room off-Broadway. And she goes, oh my God, I didn't even know Jim had a daughter. So that was exact synchronicity that I was able to tell this lady about my play, my musical, being done off-Broadway, and the daughter of the director, of the owner of the theater. It was such perfect synchronicity, and it gave us more to talk about than just, I'm the writer of a musical and you're gonna love it. It actually gave me something specific to talk with her about. And I also mentioned to her, I said, you know, I think that there should be a documentary about that theater, which is something I talked to Jessica about. You know, I said, you know, that, and she said, that's a good idea. I think it'd be a great documentary. So, you know, it wasn't like I was pitching her. It was just the universe lining something up. And that's what you guys want to pay attention to, okay? You want to start paying attention to this. See, often we want our dream in the big way. We want the sitcom, or we want the film. But what we fail to realize is that those big things are usually built on smaller things. And the universe gives us little clue, little clue, little clue, until finally it seems to all be there. Okay, now, so just for our purposes, you just want to pay attention this week to synchronicity. So that's what I want to focus on this week, is just pay attention to that. Okay, so are there any questions so far? You guys can unmute. You said, Carol?
Hey,
Hey.
I got distracted. You said synchronicity is lights, camera, action. Is that what you said at first?
Yes.
Okay, I like that.
It's lights, camera, action. It's actually being at the right place at the right time.
Thank you.
And, you know, and it's also the experience of having the question and then having the answer show up in a sort of an oddball way. Because, you know, we do our work, but the universe sometimes delivers its goodies in such a weird, backwards way. And if we're not careful, we'll be blind to it, or we'll send it out of our lives because we just don't trust it. Well, oh no, that's just too good to be true, and we'll send it on its way. That's why a gathering like this is so important, because often someone will say, I need to find a list of agents, for example. Actually, that actually came up for me. Lorenzo actually reached out to me and goes, I'm looking for, or his conversation in the class last week was, how do I get an agent? And I said, well, you know, there's a group on Facebook that's dedicated to agents and managers. So hook up with them. So he had the question and I had an answer. Now, it may not be the answer forever, but it was an answer to something that he was asking for. And that's why it's good to work together in a group, because you can't really get off the hook, because you express your dream and bam, you have to stay committed to it. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think this is my third class with you, and that's the part I love the best, is even things I didn't even think I wanted would like come up, like, oh, I really do want to be in a play, apparently. So it's pretty, that's the best part, is the synchronicity whenever I do your class.
see, and Carol, that's exactly right. And that's exactly why I teach, because I too can get in my own head. I can get in my own way. I can set up my own blocks. And it's all because oftentimes I don't actually ask for help because I'm such an independent person. But I find that when I do reach out for help, the help is everywhere, and things that I don't even think I want come into being. In fact, I actually went on a limb and pitched one of my scripts to someone this week, and lo and behold, they said, "Oh yeah, we want to do it." And I'm like, "Oh gee, I didn't expect that," you know. And it's all because I credit it all because of what we're doing here, because what you guys do inspires me, and that's the whole momentum that goes on behind a course like this, is you're able to see other people's dreams, and you see their dreams come true, and they actually inspire you to make your dream come true. That's what happens to
What
me.
is the second best?
Who's talking?
Sorry, that was children in the background. I'm muting.
Oh, um, no kids here. Okay, so that being said, it looks like you guys are doing really good on your I remembers and your script readings. Keep those up, okay? And so what we're going to be doing this tonight is we're going to continue with 2 more tasks, and then we're going to dig in and do some vein of gold work, okay? So get out your notebooks, and I want you guys to real quickly, and remember, we go real fast on these because I don't want you guys to mull over this stuff. I want you guys to just do it fast, and I want you to just get it, because you can always go back and mull and look it over again during the week, okay? So, so what we're going to do, just to tell you what we're going to do, is I'm going to give you the first 2 exercises, and then we're going to answer those exercises when we get into the vein of gold part, okay? So there is a method to my madness. Okay, there is something that I love to work with, and it's called inner cast. And basically the inner cast is your own personal version of the movie Sybil. Do you guys remember the movie Sybil? She actually was a woman who, and I don't want to make fun of any mental illness, that's not my point, is she had all these different personalities inside of her, and they were all each one distinct personalities. Now that was brought on by a trauma, but to quote Walt Whitman, he said, "I contain multitudes." And I believe that as actors, we contain an inner cast. And that inner cast is vital and fun and interesting. But sometimes we will actually have one of our leading cast, they're like archetypes inside of us, or different parts of our personality. In fact, Lorenzo brought up last week, he goes, I'm always the underdog. And I kind of said, well, that's an interesting archetype, but there's probably something else in you that's probably the warrior. That's not the underdog. That's actually very brave. And that's sort of where I'm going here. We have different personalities inside of us. And when we start to identify this inner cast, we actually can use it when we go to auditions or when we're confronted with a problem. Now, I'm going to tell you some of my inner cast, okay? So just to give you guys examples, I have an inner cast member who's very strong, and that is, I call him teacher. And he's very interested in learning new ideas and imparting those to other people. And that's the part that you're probably interfacing with right now, is the teacher part of me. Okay, I call him teacher. He's very bright. He loves to read. He's very quiet, very studious. Now, there's another part of my personality, which is I call him orphan boy. He's very sad. He's had a lot of trauma. He's the victim. He actually has had just every bad thing happen to him, okay? So he is actually forlorn and never thinks things work out. And that's a very negative side of my personality, you might think on the surface. However, that part of my personality actually lets me go very deep into acting and to characters and is very sensitive, okay? There's another part of my personality called superstar. Now that's the person that loves the limelight. Now that personality actually is very aggressive, very ambitious, and I wish it ran all of my life all the time, because that's the movie star. That's the person that's on the red carpet and loves attention, okay? And there is so those are three of my main personalities, okay? And each one of them, I've actually given a name and an identity to, because it actually helps me negotiate areas of my life. You know, if life were just run by orphan boy, I'd just be sad all the time and crying, and I would never get out of bed. But if life were just led by the teacher side of me, I would just be teaching all the time and giving all the time and always giving in service, which is fine, but it's not all of my personality. Now, I'm going to give you some examples from some of my other students. I had a student who, he had a personality called Mr. Freeze. And he said that anytime someone made him angry, he would just freeze them. And when I was working with them, and that really wasn't his lead personality. His lead personality was very charming, and he gave everybody hugs, and he was sweet. But Mr. Freeze, he said, when something happens to me I don't like, I'll just freeze someone. I'll just freeze them out. And I said, now, that is a character type that you can use whenever you're playing a businessman. When someone who is just all about the numbers or cold-hearted, that is a great character to play. But the secret to these inner casts is you have to know when to use them. You know, you have to know when you want to pull them out. So they're not leading you, you're sort of letting them sort of work with you, okay? Because if you're not aware of them, they just kind of dominate your life, and you go, oh my God, why am I feeling like the victim? And I go, oh God, orphan boy's taken over, you know? I had another actress who worked with this, and she actually had a secret self that she called the crab. And she goes, you know, just every time something really good happens, I just get crabby, and I ruin it, because I just get so mad. And I said, well, that is part of your personality, but there's probably another part of your personality that believes you can do something. Why don't you try to bring her to light instead of the crabby part, okay? So does that make sense to everyone? If you have questions, unmute yourself and ask.
May I add something?
Yes.
This is completely true, everything you said. It has something to do with our personas. I read a psychology book. I think it's by, the name of it, it's Map of the Soul. And it talks about our personality, how we have personas. It's like a mask we use in different situations. So we have to change it. For example, a priest is different with his family at home from when he's at his job. And also the shadows and the ego and all that.
Elena, that is exactly right. And that's what we're looking at. This is all part of our vein of gold, remember. Remember, we're looking for our vein of gold. And our vein of gold involves our different personalities. You know, like part of my presentational personality is comedy, and I'm funny, and I always want to make a joke. That's very healing as well, but I can't always live my life playing the clown. You know, that's only one part of my personality. And what I've learned how to do is I've learned how to get these personalities written down and actually give them names and stuff, so I actually can use them in my career as opposed to them using me. Okay, so any questions on that so far? Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to list for me 5 inner cast, and I want you to write them real fast, and I don't want you to think. Okay, so whatever you write down is correct. So 5 inner cast. Okay, you got 1 more minute.
We wouldn't necessarily tell other people that we have these inner casts because
What'd you say, Dan?
I said we wouldn't necessarily tell other people because I'm thinking that I know I have this inner cast inside me, but other people might laugh if they heard. But I can still tap into it. They don't need to. They don't need to know.
No, they don't need to know, and it's a very private thing. It's you know, and actually I like it because it's sort of a secret that you have with yourself, you know. And you know, one of the things that I like to do if I'm facing a situation, I'll write down a list. I'll go, okay, orphan boy, what do you think? He'll say, run away, hide, you know. Okay, superstar, what do you think? And it says, ghost them. Okay, you know. So it's good to get these characters sort of in like a dialogue sometimes, because they'll help you negotiate certain situations, you know. So it's a good, and no, you don't want to run around going, I'm orphan boy, you know. Everyone, if I did, everybody would take advantage of me, you know.
No, it's actually completely brilliant that you came up with this. I love it. I think it's absolutely brilliant, and you never realized all the different sides you have, you know.
Hey, Lorenzo, can you turn down your volume just a little bit? You're a little loud.
Yeah, well, you know, I am Italian.
I know you are. Can
Is that better?
A little bit more.
All right, I'm almost.
Just a little loud. That's okay.
Okay.
Oh, you're better.
Well, I'm turning you down, but I'm not hearing you anymore.
That's weird. I don't know.
You mean turning the volume down on my keyboard, right?
It's your microphone.
You're just really loud. Maybe your microphone.
I think your microphone is overpowering your speakers.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not. Maybe back away from the microphone. Or as Bette Midler said, I call them my backup girls because I say backup girls, back up. There. That's all the comedy y'all getting from me.
I will try to find it and do that.
Okay, that's okay. We can work with it. Okay, ready? Okay, draw a line under that. I want you guys to list for me, please, 5 acting mentors. Now, these are people that you look up to in your career. Like for me, it'd be Leslie Jordan, Woody Allen, Christopher Guest. We're looking for mentors in your career, okay? You know, one of mine would be for, let's say this, Julia Cameron. You know, she's one of my mentors. But just for this sake of this, acting. List 5 acting mentors, okay? And you got like a minute.
Do they have to be alive?
No, they don't have to be alive, but it would be something that someone that you want to be able to catch up with. So for mine would be Woody Allen. I think he's still alive.
So these are not people you have to have met and worked with yet.
Absolutely not. I have not met Woody Allen. I have not met Leslie. I have met Leslie Jordan, but we're not going to talk about that. 5 acting mentors. Okay. Okay, so put your pens down. So how did you guys do with your collage and your monologue? Did you all do your collage and did you all do your monologues? Thank you. Thank you. I see yours, Rebecca.
And I've got my monologue already.
Okay. Great, great. Yes, 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 yes. Perfect, perfect. Okay. So what I want you guys to do with your collage, thank you. Oh, that looks great. That looks great. If you guys would all please, we're going to work with them more next week. But what I want you to do is if you guys would take a picture of them and send them to me, that would be great because I want to look them over with with your vein of gold. So what I want you guys to do this week is when you're looking at your vein of gold list and your book, I want you to look for traces in your collage that are in your films and in your book, okay? Now remember what I said last week, that the book, the childhood book, is your key. That is the key to your vein of gold. I want you guys to keep that in mind because the characters and the situations that are in your book are the key to your vein of gold. That's usually the journey that you are on in your life. And I know that seems
Is
weird.
my microphone better? I'm so sorry. Is it better? I found where you can lower it.
A lot better. It's a lot better.
Okay.
Thank you,
Okay.
Italian.
Sorry.
Thank you, Lorenzo, Italian.
Sorry to bother.
No bother. So remember, this vein of gold thing we're doing, it's an examination process. It is a tool, and it's not that you get it all in one shot. You guys are going to get it in pieces and trickles because the vein of gold, and I want to just do a little explanation, a little bit more of what the vein of gold is, okay? So the vein of gold actually is your spiritual DNA or our spiritual DNA. It's what we come over with as artists, and it's encoded within us. And when miners are actually seeking gold, when they're digging for gold, they have to discard a lot of worthless material, and they call that the overburden. And so much of our lives are overburdened with other people's stuff and our agendas that we don't really like, frankly. And what we're doing is when we start digging for our vein of gold, we're looking for your acting DNA, which is actually what you actually do naturally and what you are absolutely great at. Okay. And we're doing all of this before we even get to quote unquote acting. Okay. But it really does set the table for everything that you will do as an actor, and it'll make you a lot stronger because you won't go into acting thinking you're going to book everything, and you know, it's, you're going to focus on things that you're really really passionate about. Okay. Because when I first started acting, I was like, oh, I'll just do everything, a little bit here, a little bit there. But it was when I really started to concentrate on my comedy and my physical size, my own DNA, not changing anything, that I started to get cast because I was not hiding anything. Okay, so keep that in mind when we are talking about your vein of gold. And actually, when you actually get that vein of gold, it actually does create what you call riches for yourself, because you're going to find that it's like a, a treasure chest of gold that you have that is so personal and so vital to you. And I'm going to tell you something else. No one can take it away from you. It is yours. It is yours by what you call God, spirit, universe, whatever. It is yours because it came to you through your spiritual DNA. Okay. And I know that might seem abstract to people. Someone just croaked on me.
No, I'm
No,
sorry.
joking.
There we go. I was trying to get, somebody was trying to get a hold of me and I didn't want them to, so I'm here.
Tell them you're just too busy. You're a star.
I
You
am.
don't have time for that.
I
Um,
have a question.
so what I want you to do, you all have your, we're going to do one more little thing, and then we're going to get right on to what I really want to work on. I want you to pull up your vein of gold list, and I want you to tell, to beside each film, I want you to write down your favorite scene from that film. One scene and your favorite. And you're only going to have 2 minutes to do it. So I want, you know, if this were the Oscars, this is what they call the Oscar clip. This is your own personal Oscar clip. And I will give you one example of mine. In the movie Grease, at the end of the movie, when Olivia Newton-John shows up as Sandy #2 with the big blonde hair and the stiletto heels and the black outfit, that is my favorite part of that film. And I'm going to tell you why it was my favorite part of the film. Because I always wanted my mother to be that woman. But my mom was actually more like Sandy 1. She was shy and she let people walk over her. But that was my favorite part of that film. Okay, so ready? You got 2 minutes to list beside each film your favorite scene. Go. Okay, you got 1 more minute. Okay, everybody, that is terrific. Now, what I'm going to do is I, this is sort of like the deluxe package here of what we're going to be doing with the vein of gold. So I want you guys to listen to each other, listen to each other's vein of golds, listen to each other's monologues, listen to each other's I remembers. And what what we're all doing together is we're collectively looking for everybody's vein of gold. Okay, so when I tell you guys go, I want you guys to all we're gonna do what we did with Mary last week. She's gonna read the person's gonna read their list and their favorite childhood book, and we're going to tell them the things that they have in common. Okay, that's going to be one step of this. Okay, the second step of this, when I actually bring you guys up, I'm going to bring you up one at a time, and what I want you to do is I want you to share one inner character, one mentor, and then we're going to do your vein of gold exercise. And then I want you to share your monologue with me if you did it. Now, you guys, if you don't do the exercises, that's okay. Do them next week, okay? These are practices, okay? And I know life gets in the way and you can't always do all of this 100% of the time, okay? So I'm gonna start with Mary Dallas because we worked with her last week. Mary, will you unmute yourself, please? What? Uh-oh.
There, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Excellent, because mine says it's still waiting for some reason.
Oh my God.
And you're blocked by me. I don't know what's going on. So when you want to talk to me, you have to unmute me.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Let me see what this is all about. I will try to figure it out. Okay.
That's okay, as long as you can hear me.
Are all of you blocked? Okay. Okay, Mary.
Yes.
In your vein of gold last week, will you please tell me what was your main theme?
Looked like it was a dramedy, control of destiny.
Okay. Now,
a little crazy.
Now, what I want you to do is I want you to tell me and us, tell me one of your inner cast, please.
The Great Pretender.
Tell me who the Great Pretender is.
Well, she pretends to be somebody she's not to fit in.
Great. That's a great, wow. That's powerful.
That's my whole life.
What?
That's my whole life, the Great Pretender.
Wow. Okay. That's a really, and I'm not going to comment too much on everyone's personalities, only because this is such a personal journey. And remember, what we're looking for is we're looking for common themes in these characters, in these mentors, in our vein of gold. We're looking for common themes. Okay. Mary, is that a common theme in your vein of gold, that character?
Yes.
Good. Now tell me real fast, who is your mentor? One mentor.
Paul Michael Glazier.
Okay. Who is Paul Michael Glaser and why is he your mentor?
He played Starsky, David Starsky on the original Starsky and Hutch series in the 70s.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and he was just so amazing. His acting was so natural. He was just amazing. He inspired me to actually go into acting.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. So that character, do you feel like, or that actor, do you feel like you could match him in your efforts?
Possibly.
Because that's the goal, is we want to
Yeah.
be someone that we can like I said, mine's Woody Allen and Leslie Jordan. Now,
Wow.
Woody Allen, I don't think I could catch up with, but I definitely think I could catch up with Leslie Jordan. I mean, he's
Definitely.
shorter than me. So look at that mentor and see how much you have in common with him, and see if you can maybe emulate your own career after him. Okay. And guys, you can always change your mentor as well. If there's someone that's stronger, I know Mary wouldn't say Meryl Streep because she's on her enemy list. But you can always change it. You know, mine used to be Woody Allen, and then it was, and now it's actually one of my mentors is Christopher Guest, because I just love what he does so much. I mean, I think I could possibly do a little bit of that. Okay, Mary, do you have a monologue?
I do.
Okay, can you tell me, I'm going to ask you the question, and you just let me know, why do you feel it is your vein of gold?
Because it covers just about every aspect of my personality. It's got peaks and valleys. It's got emotion, it's comedy. It's got everything.
Who is the character you're playing? And I want you to do your monologue for us. And I don't want a quote unquote performance here. I just want to see your vein of gold. So
okay. Do you want her name now? The character?
Yeah. Who is she?
Elaine Venice from Seinfeld.
Okay.
So do I go now?
Yes.
Okay. I never knew I could drive like that. I was going faster than I've ever gone, yet it seemed like everything was going in slow motion. I was seeing 3 and 4 moves ahead, weaving in and out of traffic like an Olympic skier on a gold medal run. At Kings Boulevard, I used the shoulder. At Jewel Avenue, I took the median. And then I hit the Van Wyck. They say no one's ever beaten the Van Wyck. But gentlemen, I'll tell you this. I came closer than anyone ever has. And if it hadn't been for that 5-car pileup on Rockaway Boulevard, that numbskull would be on an airplane to Seattle right now, then looking for a parking space downstairs.
Nice. Now, I'm not going to give a whole bunch of feedback to the material, okay? And I'm going to say that to everybody. When I say nice, that just means you did a great job, and I don't want to give too much criticism or that, but I think that is your vein of gold, and I think that you picked correctly. Do you feel good about that material?
Yeah, I kind of messed up in a couple of spots, but
yeah, but that's not important.
It was fun.
The act is not important. What's important is the essence of the character and how you feel about playing it. You know, because sometimes we'll get a monologue and we won't commit to it because it's not our vein of gold. You know, but I think this is your vein of gold. Okay, so you did not read your I Remember last week, did you?
I don't think I did. No.
Would you read your I Remember for me, please?
Today's I Remember, right?
You can read the one from last week, or you can read the one from any one you want to.
Okay. I remember when I was 15, we went to Greece for the entire summer. We took a bus from Sparta to Tripoli, and the roads were so narrow, and there were mountain roads, that there were crosses that lined the entire edge of the road all the way down, of people that went over the cliff and died. I was absolutely terrified. I thought I was gonna die for sure. That was
Right.
it.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you
welcome.
so much for sharing that. And you're going to find this week, as you look at your collage and you look at your vein of gold, that that monologue you wrote is a character that you have. That's the point of the I remembers, is to connect with your own self and your own sense of character. And look at your movies this week and your collage, and look for those common denominators. And this is for everybody. We only have so much time here, but what I wanted you guys to do is to start looking at your list and looking at the characters and the mentors and see how they all have a common denominator, how they all, and most importantly, how they resonate with you. That is the vital key to what I teach, is how does it resonate with you and your career? Because what resonates for Stephen will not necessarily resonate for Mary or Samantha or Lorenzo or any of you guys, okay? It's what's important to me when I teach is what's important to the actor. What do they feel? What do they bring to the party? Okay, because I teach differently than other teachers. A lot of teachers teach with criticism and you need to do this and you need to do that. And I teach more of an intuition based of what's best for you. You know what's best for you. You know your common, and the more you know your common denominators in the films and the more you work with these tools, the more that you're going to find that you're going to start giving more and more personal performances, and you're going to start looking for things that are more personal to you as an actor. Okay, that's for everybody across the board. Mary, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you. Appreciate
Thank you. My pleasure.
it. Okay, now I want to go on to Dan. Dan,
Yes.
hi.
Hey.
Okay, you shared your I remember last week. But what I want to know is I want you to, would you please tell me your vein of gold?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, before we do that, would you please tell me, I'm sorry, I'm confused. Would you please tell me your inner cast member?
Yes. Fallen Angel.
Okay. Who's Fallen Angel?
It's just a part. It's a part of my personality.
Great, great. And who's your mentor?
John Lithgow.
Yeah,
He plays the roles I want to play.
yeah.
Yeah, I've always loved him and loved his career. And I've seen him perform live. I've seen him, he just, it's like I keep thinking, wow, I wish I had his career.
Oh, wow, that's a
We're
good,
also
what's that?
we're also the same size. I ran into him on the street. So it's like, I could actually wear his costumes.
Wow. That's fabulous. That's absolutely fabulous. So you're 6'2", right?
I am.
That's good.
Yeah.
He's a good actor to emulate. Okay, now please tell me. Now this is where I want everybody to chime in. Dan, I want you to tell me your vein of gold, your five movies, and your favorite childhood book, please.
Okay, well, the vein of gold was witty dialogue, complicated characters, hopeless lovers, sexual neurosis, and a gay sensibility.
Oh, wow. Now, wait, did we give this to you or did you come up with this?
I came up with it.
Oh, you came up with it. See,
Yeah, last week.
He already came up with it. Okay, great. Would you please tell me, Dan, I want you to tell everybody your 5 favorite movies and your favorite childhood book. Just
Okay,
read.
well, my favorite childhood book was a collection of Peanuts comics of, Snoopy and Charlie Brown, because I always felt like a Charlie Brown wanted to be Snoopy.
Okay, okay. What were your favorite movies? And you
Breakfast at
guys
Tiffany.
listen to his movies, guys.
Breakfast at Tiffany's, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, All About Eve, What's Up, Doc, Brokeback Mountain, and Parting Glances.
Okay, you guys can all unmute yourself and tell him what common denominators you see. And Dan, I want you to write this down in addition to what you discovered on your own, okay? So everybody unmute yourselves and give it to him.
You say your movies again? I'm so sorry.
Sure.
I got to the last ones and I totally forgot the first.
Sure. Breakfast at Tiffany's, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, All About Eve, What's Up, Doc, Brokeback Mountain, and Parting Glances.
I think like dramedy. Those drama, the film that's a drama, but it's very funny at the same time.
Classics.
Mm-hmm.
With Virginia Woolf, I think it is, it's really angst. and the fight scenes in there, the emotions in that one is really something that gets to me too.
With All About Eve, she's very concentrated and she like follows her mentor and is perseveres to get the career, but also kind of a justice too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Self-understanding or self-acceptance.
Definite angst.
Mm-hmm.
Complex characters.
Yeah.
Hard
Yeah.
characters, difficult characters,
Mm.
challenging.
Multi-layered.
relationships.
Yeah.
Lots of layers.
Go ahead. Anyone else?
Romance.
Multi-layered, lots of different layers.
Kind of romantic characters in some way.
Yeah.
Sexual orientation angst.
Mm-hmm.
Dan, does that resonate with you?
Yeah, it's interesting, you know, because when I first got to Hollywood, I was told that my vein of gold, I had to hide from everybody if I wanted a career.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, being a gay man, you had to like hide and pretend to be straight. That's what I was told by agents. And I didn't do it, but then I didn't have a great career either yet. And so but it was just interesting that when I got to town, I got an agent right away, but everyone kept saying, you have to be something else other than your vein of gold. But it was bad advice, you know. So it's like a lot of my remembers this week were about, wow, I remember really getting some really bad advice.
Wow. And Dan, you're not alone in that. We all get bad advice. We all get bad advice.
By well-meaning people. These were not people trying to be bad. They were trying to give well-meaning, but it was bad advice.
Well, you know, sometimes the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Sometimes people don't look at the work. They don't understand what the artist is trying to do, you know? So, you know, in a career, you know, survival and strength and backbone come to some people a lot easier. To some people, it takes them a long time to develop it. And I'll just speak for myself. It took me a long time to not listen to a lot of people, because I came into the business thinking I had to listen to everybody and everybody's opinion was the same and it all had the same value. And it didn't. Some of it was just absolute fear and angst projected on me, you know? So, you know, give yourself a break, and you're on the right track now, because you're not going to stop acting now. You're going to keep going, you know? And that's what's so good about your story. And I will tell the people who are a little older in this group, sometimes it's the actors who've been beat up a little bit and have come into it late that actually give the best performances and go further because they're not intimidated. And
You're
they don't.
talking about me. You're talking about me. I'm the oldest.
I don't know, past lives, I might be the oldest. So really, you guys, it's really important to understand that wherever you are on the journey is your journey, and the bad advice you get, you have to learn to listen to it. It's like I will tell you guys this. I've seen two things hinder actors more than anything else. And I'm just going to spill it, and you guys can all disagree with me and write me hate notes, and everyone else in the industry can too as well. The two things that I find that are horrible for actors is criticism and perfectionism. And usually they go hand in hand, and usually they chop off both your legs. And what I mean by criticism, I don't mean by someone giving you a fair deal on your work. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the people who are petty, mean, and just go for your jugular. They're the ones that you take your work to and they go, well, it's not the Godfather trilogy. Or you have a little show, you have put a little show up and they go, well, it's not Hamilton. I have a really nemesis kind of friend who every time I put something up, he will send me a link to something that is kind of like what I've done, but with a lot of money behind it. And he'll go, well, have you heard, like when I was doing the Green Room, my musical, his big thing was, have you heard Hamilton? Have you heard Hamilton? I'm like, no, I'm too busy working on my work. I know and he would always do that to me, and it would make me feel bad. Now, I know he didn't want to make me feel bad, but him doing that made me feel bad because he was comparing my little embryonic work to something that had $5 billion behind it. You guys got to understand that when you're starting off acting, you got to be aware of that type of criticism, and it doesn't help. And the other thing is perfectionism. Perfectionism is just that thing that I have to do the perfect monologue. I have to do the perfect thing. I have to do this perfectly. And that's not the case. Just practicing it makes you perfect, because you only get better by doing it, not by thinking about doing it, not about hoping you're going to do it, by doing it. Okay. So it's very important that we not overly criticize ourselves, and we also don't take our embryonic work into the world and say, here, what do you think of my work? Because your circle of friends, they may not be supportive. They may not understand what you're trying to do. And so it's very important that you have clear boundaries about who you share your work with. I used to share my work with everybody. Anyone who wanted to read my work, what do you think? What do you think? Anyone what do you think? What do you think? And anytime they said anything bad, I'd be like, oh my God, I'd stop writing or stop sending it out, But I learned my lesson to not give my work to people and go, what do you think? What do you think? Like a little baby, But you got to know that, because it can shoot you down. Okay, so Dan, thank you so much for sharing that. You are so brave, and every time you're on Facebook, you're so brave with the things you share, and I appreciate that. Do you have a monologue, Dan? Dan?
Yes, I do.
Would you share it with me?
Sure.
And tell me, why is it your vein of gold or not?
Well, okay, so this is the reason why. Okay, I won't say why it's not, because that's someone else's. I'll say why it is. It's because I really identify with what it's about, and you use the word classic. It's really heartfelt, and it's and it's and the character is a bit of a fallen angel, and who has a redemption arc at the end of his thing. But I really like this. Anyway, but it speaks to me, and it always has.
All right.
Okay.
Do it for me. Do it for us.
Wait a minute, Mr. Potter. Now, you're right. Now, my father, I don't know why he built this cheap penny ante savings and loan, but neither you nor anybody else can ever say anything about his character. In the 25 years since he first started this thing, he never once thought of himself. Isn't that right, Uncle Billy? But he did help a few people get out of your slums. What's wrong with that? I mean, doesn't it make them better citizens? Doesn't it make them better customers? I mean, you're all businessmen here. What was it you said just a minute ago? That a working man has to wait and save his money before he even have to think of a decent home. Wait. For what? For his children to grow old and leave him? For him to get so old? And do you know how long it takes the average working man to save $5,000? Just remember this rabble that you're talking about, well, they do most of the working and paying and living and dying in this community. Well, is it too much to have them work and pay and live and die in a couple of decent rooms and a bath? Well, my father didn't think so. People were human beings to him. To you, a frustrated old man, they're cattle. As far as I'm concerned, my father is a richer man than you'll ever be.
Nice. That's very nice. That's a lot. That's a lot of intense work, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much for bringing that. And I think that is your vein of gold. I think that is probably very close to your vein of gold. And I would stick with that monologue. It's a good one on you. It's associated with Jimmy Stewart, but I think it's good on you.
George Bailey and It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah. I think it's good on you. Okay, so now I want to move on to, okay, Rebecca.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can. Now, what I want to know is, tell me who, name me one of your inner cast.
One of my inner cast is Becky, and
Okay.
she's hurt.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, that's all. And tell me, who is your mentor?
Okay, Robin Williams.
Great.
Okay.
Okay.
And one of my favorite movies is Dead Poets Society.
Okay.
And I love when the boys stand up and say, "Oh, Captain, oh, Captain."
Yeah.
I really like that.
That's a great scene. Now, what I want to do with you, Rebecca, is I want you to tell me your five movies, and I don't want you to comment on them and tell me why you like them or anything. I want you to list your 5 favorite movies and your favorite childhood book, and we're all going to chime in on this, okay? Just like we did with Dan, okay? So go ahead and give me your favorite movies.
Okay, Dead Poets Society, Mrs. Doubtfire, Birdcage, Schindler's List, and Forrest Gump.
Favorite childhood book?
That is Through the Looking Glass. Got it?
Okay, so everybody turn your microphones on and let's give her some feedback on this.
Can you say your movies again? Oh, I'm sorry.
Again, real slow.
Okay. Dead Poets Society, Mrs. Doubtfire, Birdcage, Schindler's List, and Forrest Gump.
Favorite childhood
Wow,
book?
good movies, first of all. Awesome movies. I think I don't know a term for it, but I think somebody putting on, they're making the world think they're really strong, but inside they're having some turmoil. They come through it in the end, but that kind of thing, like I'm going to put on that brave face, but even though I want to die inside.
Excellent.
I also think people who you like the have a ruse that they pull on other people. They pretend to be other people in order to in order to fool other people. And you're dealing with people overcoming the prejudices and small-minded thinking of others in at least 3 of those films.
And they're doing it in a good way, like to save Jewish people, to save their kids and be near their children, to protect their son and his fiance's life, their life.
There's almost like this Phoenix Rising thing going on.
Yeah. Almost like an outsider too, I'm feeling.
Epic stuff.
And also, it seems to me like the movies were like The Birdcage, and they represented something that was a little more off the wall than most. It was kind of like, there's a lot of gaiety going on in there too.
I
Okay.
think she's trying to change the world by example, or by showing horrible things to make people realize, to change the world for the better.
Thank you, Mary.
You're welcome.
A touch of whimsy.
Oh, that's good.
Whimsy is a great word.
And people knowing that something is right, nobody knows it but me, so I'm going to do it anyway. And that's a hard trait to have. That's a good trait, but it's hard to actually have the guts to do that.
Yeah, I was getting that too, but more in like the perseverance, like I'm going to do this and this is how I'm going to do it kind of way.
Yeah,
it's like an inner strength.
Yeah, even Miss Doubtfire, I mean, the whole thing there, he's alone and everything, man.
Yeah, he is.
Now,
Yeah.
Rebecca, did you write? I want you to write all those down. Rebecca, did you write all those down?
I did.
Okay. So, can you please tell me, does any of that resonate with you?
It does. It does.
Can you tell me about your childhood book, please?
Through the Looking Glass.
Mm-hmm.
And that, to me, is that it is a girl who is changing with the times. If something is little, she's little, and if it's big, she's big. If they're having a tea party, or if the Queen of Hearts off with their heads, she's astonished by it.
And do you see that theme in your films?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Okay, so what I want to do with you, Rebecca, do you have a monologue?
I sure do.
And can you tell me, why do you think it is your vein of gold?
It's a person trying to be heard. When I went through all of my aunt's things, I found she had done a 3-person a comedy show, not a comedy show, but a show, 3-person show, she and 2 other girls, and she had written monologues about people she knew in Hollywood, people on the street. And this one is Mary, and Mary is a street person. And I knew Mary too when I lived there. So when I came across it, I thought, wow.
Okay.
I needed to do this one.
Okay, so give it to me, okay? Give it to us.
Okay. I just thought somebody ought to know. I just thought somebody ought to know. Are you listening out there? Are you listening out there? I'm not just blood on some hospital county sheet. I'm not just blood on any crummy sheet. I was somebody too. Are you listening to me? Are you listening to me? Here I am, cooling my heels in the LA County morgue. My, you don't know it, but I was somebody too. I could be you. I stood at the street corner. I stood at that street corner. Didn't look left and I didn't look right. I was just standing there. I couldn't move. I The lights changed 3 times. Can you believe it? 3 times. Didn't move. Didn't see it. I couldn't. My eyes had turned in. My mouth moved, but the words were turned in. My cheeks flapped against gums on the outside, but the words and the inside where the flame flickered, it was dying. It was burning out. It sputtered. It sputtered and flickered. Let me lay my burden down. Oh, Lord, my bony cracked fingers, black with carbon monoxide grime, they were shaken. Gutted out brain, burned out circuits, cinders floating in a smoky black cap, and echoes, echoes, echoes. I was somebody too. I could be you. Let me lay my burden down. Lord, Lord, the grocery cart, it sputtered. Sail away, sail away. Lord, Lord, let me lay my burden down. I just thought somebody ought to know. I just thought somebody ought to know. I was somebody. I was somebody. And I could be you.
Nice, nice, nice. Rebecca, that was really nice. Fine work there. Fine, and I think that is your vein of gold. Because it's looking at the world, trying to what's that?
I know, I'm listening to you. I'm sorry.
No, it is your vein of gold. And I'd like to see you work on that some more, because I think that incorporates a lot of your different personalities. And I like it. And do you think it's your vein of gold?
I do. I feel the hurt. I want to see people. I want them to know that they're looked at and that they are. But can I read my I remember, so that I'm not in a sad mood? Can I read it?
Absolutely.
Okay. This won't take long, and I hope you get a laugh out of it. I remember the first day I met him, the love of my life, the father of my children, my life mate. It was September 1972. I was getting out of a short-lived marriage, and the country had just made military service for divorced women with children available. So it was perfect. It was a time for me to join the ROTC and travel the world. Done. I walked into the ROTC activity office rather nonchalantly and threw my $5 activity fee on the desk of an unknown person dressed perfectly in his uniform. Looking up at me, then standing in front of me and looking at my eyes, and he had the most beautiful eyes I had ever seen, he proceeded in his most authoritative voice to ask me a question. Do you know who I am? With no further ado, he took the chalk and he walked to the blackboard and drew exactly where his position was, and then squeakingly running that chalk down the board, exactly how far down I was. Well, from then on, when we saw each other, we turned and went the other way.
That's that, actually save that, Rebecca, because you might want to use that later in the class, okay?
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so Miss Jessica Jennings,
Hi.
hi. How are you?
Okay, how are you?
Wonderful. Okay, so I want you to please tell me one of your inner cast.
India Jones.
Okay. And tell me who your mentor is.
Elizabeth Taylor.
Ooh. Wow. Okay, love that. That's some big blouses to fill. I mean, big shoes to fill. Now you mentioned that you don't have your monologue. Is that correct?
Correct. I just ran and grabbed some stuff that
Okay.
I've
Well,
tinkered past, but
why don't we let's do your vein of gold list real quick in your childhood book. So I want to know your favorite films in your childhood book.
films. The Princess Bride, Top Gun, Into the Woods, Wizard of Oz, Men in Tights.
Book.
Peter Pan.
I knew it. Okay. Now everybody unmute and give Jessica. And Jessica, you write this down what they tell you, okay? So go ahead, guys.
Sorry,
I'm
can you
thinking
get
like,
them again? Sorry, go ahead.
like fantasy bigger than life. You know, that's the first thing that came into my head. These
Like a
larger than life fantasy things.
mysterious.
A nymph.
What was that?
A nymph.
Or someone that doesn't want to grow up.
Yeah.
Forever 10.
Going on a journey.
Oh.
Pirate.
I think a little bit of an underdog too.
Huge imagination.
Out of your element, some other world. My kids are watching Wizard of Oz right now, so that's funny.
Love fantasy world.
Fantasy.
Fantasy. I missed one thing after someone said underdog and before someone said like otherworldly. Somebody said something with an H and I started to write it down and I don't remember who said it. Let's see. It doesn't matter. Oh, maybe you said huge, larger than life.
Bravery.
Bravery.
Brave.
Kindness, especially to strangers.
Say it again.
Taking chances.
Chances.
A chance taker.
Oh, and then I said kindness, especially to strangers.
Oh, kindness. Okay.
Anything else? Jessica, who do you relate to in your childhood book?
Well, Wendy, of course, but also Peter. And I think that very much is related to like, I have a brother who's very close to my age, an older brother we're like a year and a half apart. And so it was just always following in his footsteps and always just trying to be exactly like him. And apparently I didn't even play with any dolls until I entered kindergarten because they just had no meaning to me because my brother didn't play with them. So I was always just sword fighting with him.
So sort of a tomboy kind of feel.
Yeah.
That's great. That's anyone else have any feedback for her movies?
Good
Adventure.
movies. Love the
Adventure.
movies. You know?
What'd you say, Mary?
Adventure. She's an adventurer.
Definitely.
Breaking the mold.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I kind of thought like Samantha Maselli from Who's the Boss, where she's a tomboy, she's tough, but she's really pretty still though. So you're like, let's play in the mud, and then at the end of the night, you're like, whoa, she could look it up too. All right.
That's cool.
I'll be right back.
Okay, so Jessica, I would like for you to please do a little monologue for me and tell me why you think it is your vein of gold.
Wait, hold on a second. This is gonna be totally cold then, because I just ran to the other room to grab this.
We don't care. I just want to hear why you think it's your vein of gold.
Okay, no, I've done this play, but okay. You want me to tell you why I think it's my vein of gold afterwards, right?
Yeah, or before, whatever.
I got another picture for you. It's a 6th grade class picture, so it's not, I mean, her hair is longer and she doesn't have the braces, but still. And it's not really like her, the eyes. I mean, I think she's about to blink. She hates it, this picture. Oh, see, she's standing next to this guy here, Neil Kransky. She says he smells or something. See how she's leaning away a little bit? I never noticed that. She's got these opinions. Oh, she hates this photo. But you see how tall she is, though? She's the tallest one in the back row, and I keep thinking that's gonna like make a difference, you know? But it's not. God, it is not rational, but oh geez, you know, I almost forgot the jacket she's wearing. It's a really light blue, powder blue, that's what they call it. And I went back to the store to look, and they still had one, so I mean, it's not just the light blue like I told you. I mean, it is powder blue. Shit. I was gonna bring it, but you know what? I could go back to the store and buy the jacket. I mean, it's the exact same one. How about I do that? Sorry, that is really cold. That is definitely from Tongue of a Bird.
So why do you feel it's your vein of gold?
The thing that I always related to with that character in that role was, she's a mother she has every right to be falling apart and emotional, and she's trying so hard to hold it together and kind of like battle through this missing child scenario. Her daughter's missing and they're searching for her. And she's a single mother. But so I feel I connect with it in that kind of like holding on to inner strength part.
Great. And I agree. I think that is your vein of gold, and you went right there, and we followed you all the way. So great job. Okay. We're going to go on to Lorenzo.
That is I.
Hi, Lorenzo. Okay.
How you doing? Wow, I'm all nervous now.
You should be. Lorenzo, I want you to please tell me first of all, tell me one of your inner cast.
Ed.
Who?
Ed. E-D. Ed. He's Ed. He's a serial killer.
Perfect. Great.
Yes.
Inner cast is so good.
Well, sometimes, sometimes I feel I'm so nice to everybody, and then they do just the stupidest shit that I'm just sitting there like planning their death in my head as they're talking to me. And then of course I walk away, but I'm just like, what is wrong with humans today?
Wow. See, Lorenzo, that is a whole different thing than the underdog. Great identification of, tell me who your mentor is.
Sylvester Stallone.
All right. Great mentor. Now, let's do Lorenzo's vein of gold, everybody. I want to know your 5 favorite movies and your childhood book.
Okay. Childhood book is And I Mean It, Stanley.
Okay.
And what is it about is this little kid is building something out of garbage. And he's talking to somebody. and but nobody's ever there, and and then in the end you realize he's talking to his dog Stanley, and then right when he gets done building this, Stanley's in the middle of the thing he built out of garbage, and it all falls apart, and he's like, "Oh, Stanley."
Nice.
And my 5 movies are Rocky, Money Pit, A Christmas Story, Cinderella Man, and It's a Wonderful Life.
Okay, everyone, unmute and tell Lorenzo. And Lorenzo, write this down. Why? That's common denominators of theme, character, or whatever.
Well, with Rocky, that's strength and perseverance.
So the underdog.
Want to be the winner.
Winner, yeah.
Against the odds.
Is the underdog. It's kind of a mixture of both, I think.
Definitely love the holidays.
Could you, Lorenzo, tell us your movies one more time?
Yeah, of course. Okay. It's Rocky. It's a Wonderful Life. Money Pit. Does anyone know what the Money Pit is? It's with Tom Hanks. Yeah, awesome. Yeah. A Christmas Story, and Cinderella Man, which is about James J. Braddock. Yeah, I love that movie when he couldn't fight, he couldn't win to save his life, and then he's like, Sporty Lewis says, how are you winning all the time? He's like, because I'm fighting for milk this time. You know, the milk made because he couldn't even afford milk because he lost everything.
Okay.
Fighting.
Go ahead.
Well, the Money Pit, they lose a lot of money and the house just keeps falling apart and their lives fall apart. But in the end, they fight for it, but they have a beautiful house in the end, and then they realize the truth and there's a happy ending.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Creating something from nothing.
Yeah.
And the Christmas Story, the child in him loves Christmas.
The everyman.
Oh, I like that. Everyday man.
Well, in the Christmas Story, they fight against the bullies. They're just kind of regular people in Indiana fighting the cold and fighting the dogs next door.
Telling a story of childhood, yeah.
Say finding joy in chaos.
Very so.
Happy ending. Always a happy ending.
Yeah.
All right. Speak it, Sarah.
Hope eternal. No, your favorite childhood book. You know, this guy builds something from garbage to his dog. That. Lorenzo, you made a movie about that, kinda, sorta.
I guess, yeah. We mean the self-help one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Look at that vein of gold. Look at that book and look at that movie. It's, you know, it's not exactly right, but it's, you know, you have family dynamics in there. You have society dynamics. Anyone else have anything you want to add to Lorenzo?
Resourcefulness, like I see kind of a financial part, like the Money Pit and the Cinderella Man working for milk, but finding a way and really going for what you want no matter what.
Trying to keep his head above water.
Yeah.
Building something out of nothing.
Right. Okay, Lorenzo, show me your monologue, please. And why is it your vein of gold?
All right. Well, first to know about me and monologues, Lorenzo doesn't like monologues, not because I think I can't do them. I think it's because I like headshots and monologues. I don't like doing at all. Maybe because I've done them so much, and maybe because bad things, maybe. I'm sure it's a little bit of everything. So in picking a monologue, this is the best one I saw that I actually enjoyed doing. So if it's my vein of gold, maybe you can help me with that.
Okay.
All right. Now, this is not a monologue book. I don't like monologue books. This is Working by Studs Terkel. He interviewed everyday people, and their everyday conversations are pretty awesome.
Okay, I just want to interject here, Lorenzo. Do you see the working, what you picked is actually part of your vein of gold? Do you see that? Like
I
Chris,
never thought of that. Yeah, it's true.
remember that's what we're, you guys remember, that's what we're looking for in this vein of gold stuff. We're not looking for whether you like a monologue or whether how good your acting is. I could really give two craps about that, okay? What I'm interested in what is your vein of gold and what resonates with you, okay? So Lorenzo, let's hear this little monologue.
All right. I don't play pool with them because I refuse to play for nothing. It took me a long time to get good at that game. If anybody wants to beat me, it's going to cost them money. I like gambling. I like playing cards for money. Selling cards is a gamble. Every customer that walks in there, they got a $20 bill or a $50 bill in their pocket, and it's up to you to get it out of their pocket. The only way to get it out is to sell them a car. I mean, it's a gamble. If I had more education, I'd be a little better at it. I wish to God I could turn back the clock and go back to school. That's why it's a challenge to sell a man that has been educated, been through college. I can make him come to me instead of going to him. They see it my way.
Good job. Lorenzo, you know,
Yes, sir.
I don't want to give you too much feedback or good or bad, but I will say this, that is your vein of gold and you picked correctly. And the nuances that you had in that character and just in that reading, it's some of the most internal, and I know you were just reading, but it's felt very private to me and felt very intimate to me and felt that your vein of gold was coming through as that underdog character who wants to be someone else. So keep that in mind because that is a very strong vein of gold for you, okay? And think about it. Okay. Great job. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Okay. Now I want to go to Alex, please.
All right. Okay.
Okay, Alex, please tell me your inner cast character.
Inner cast character, Vin Diesel.
I'm sorry?
Vin Diesel.
Okay, is that your is that your mentor or inner cast?
Mentor.
Okay, who's your inner cast character?
It's Jason Statham.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Now I want you to tell me, tell us your 5 favorite films and your childhood book.
Chronicles of Riddick, Bloodsport, Karate Kid, Shrek, Cable Guy, Jim Carrey, and my childhood book is Aladdin and the Magical Lamp.
Okay. Okay, guys, unmute yourself. Alex, will you read your movies one more time, please, for everyone?
Yeah. Chronicles of Riddick, Bloodsport, that's Jean-Claude.
Yeah.
Karate Kid, Shrek, we all know Shrek, and the Cable Guy, Jim Carrey.
Okay.
And my book is Aladdin and Magical Lamp.
Okay. Well, everybody unmute yourself and give him his vein of gold.
I think he's it's like he's very strong, and he has this whole thing about using his strength, using his physical strength, and that's what I see.
Okay.
And
Superhero.
certainly a fighter.
All my life.
Superhero, yeah.
Yeah, fights always. All my life.
Like a mission or a quest going on too.
Yeah.
The hero's journey.
Hero's journey, perfect.
I think like the oddball who has to overcome something. Yeah, the loner.
Loner, yeah.
Misunderstood.
Had some really good mentors and learned some lessons. Like Shrek becomes a lot warmer with his friends, Mr. Miyagi develops a relationship with the Karate Kid, and
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
he's like Rocky. They called it Rocky, like the underdog.
Yeah.
The gentle giant.
Yeah, gentle giant. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
like tough on the outside and then lovable on the inside.
Yes.
Okay.
Striving to be free.
Free. Good one.
Yeah, striving to be free.
Charming. Charming.
Thank you.
So Alex, do you have a monologue?
Yes, I do.
Would you tell me why do you think it is your vein of gold?
Well, we like my vein of gold is because I stand behind the truth, and
Right.
that's my vein of gold. Like always say, truth, how it is, whatever it is. When people accuse you of things, you know, like you make sure like you want to bring a truth to the table.
Okay, so let's hear your monologue, please.
Okay, it's from the Wilbur Daniel Steele. It's a farce play, not smart. That's what they call it. I think it was done in 1900, something like that.
Okay.
Like one of his wife accusing him of having something to do with the maid
Okay.
because she's pregnant.
Okay.
And he says, Francis, 10 minutes ago, I would have called the man a liar who told me that you, my wife, had such a low, suspicious mind. Do you hear me? Good God, Fanny! The world is full of low minds, I suppose, eternally ready to suspect the worst, licking their lips for a chance at the man's good name. Of course, the girl must be gotten away from here immediately. Fanny! She's not hearing him still. I go, see here, Fanny! Pull yourself together. There's arrangements to make. This poor creature can't be left here to face the sneers of these damn narrow-souled provincials. She is, in a sense, a dependent of ours. It seems to me we can do less than to send her away to some place where she will be looked after, cared for, understood. In the city, Fanny, will you listen to me?
Nice. Nice.
It's like he's being accused of having something because the maid become like pregnant, and the wife thinks he has something to do with the maid, and now try to prove himself.
Yeah.
And end up later on being like he's no father of the kid.
Oh.
But she didn't believe him. Yeah.
Well, you know, that actually is a very strong vein of gold. And what I would suggest, Alex, is that's a nice piece, but I would suggest you do something a little more contemporary, because I think
Okay.
that might be a little, the language in there and the characters might be a little archaic, and I would pick something a little more contemporary that you could
Okay.
that actually is like the same type of monologue, but I would pick something that you could actually slide into a little easier, because I think the language of
Okay.
that is kind of challenging for
Yeah.
you, and we don't follow it as well as we could, and I think you'd get more mileage if you had something a little more contemporary. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And I think it is your vein of gold, and I think you need to keep working on that vein of gold too, because I like how you said it's about someone who states the truth, and I think if you
Yeah.
find more contemporary characters that do that, you're gonna strike gold quicker and easier,
Okay.
because that's what this is about. We don't want to make it so hard that you're struggling with the character and the language in that character. Okay.
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 So thank you for sharing.
It's in the old like 1900s.
Yeah, and it felt, and it didn't, you guys, it felt like it too. And sometimes we'll put something that's not exactly our vein. It's kind of there in the ballpark, but we have to find something a little more sure, right on track to get our vein goal. Because I think there's a lot of power in you, because I know you because I've talked to you before we started this class. You have a history that's very strong, and I want you to find characters that have that kind of history that you have, and try to find something a little more modern, and I think that'll help a lot more.
Yeah. I know. I just picked one because I was like,
I know. So I want to move on right now to, I want to try Sarah.
Okay.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
I want you to please tell me one of your inner cast members.
Little Miss Perfect.
Oh.
She's a people pleaser.
Tell me your mentor.
Scarlett Johansson.
Ooh, yeah. Okay. And can you please tell me, what I would love to do is, let's do your vein of gold and tell us all your 5 favorite movies and your childhood book.
Okay. Movies are Heathers, Rent, Lord of the Rings, Pleasantville, Addams Family, and my book is Sherlock Holmes.
Okay.
Specifically Man with the Twisted Lip, but I don't know if that matters.
It does matter.
Okay.
So will you real slowly read your list one more time and your favorite childhood book, and don't just say Sherlock Holmes, give us the name of that book, and you might have to tell us what that book's about, okay?
Yeah. So the movies are Heathers, Rent, Lord of the Rings, Pleasantville, and The Addams Family. And the book is Sherlock Holmes, Man with the Twisted Lip. And it's, oh God, how do I explain it? It's about a gentleman who is wreaking havoc on a town, and they're trying to understand who he is and what he's all about.
Okay, great. All right, everybody, unmute yourselves and give her some information.
I think she's a problem solver.
Wants to be part of the crowd.
Yeah, some mysterious people, and yeah, they might not be part of the crowd, but they formed their own group, like the Addams Family and Rent. I also kind of see, I was thinking Addams Family is a black and white TV show, and Pleasantville has black and white, and then becomes very colorful, so I kind of see colors there.
Can we hear them again?
Yeah. Heathers, Rent, Lord of the Rings, Pleasantville, and Addams Family.
I was thinking strong people who speak their mind.
I want to say other universes and societies and timelines other than just normal, because Pleasantville, The Lord of the Rings, Middle Earth, Addams Family, it's like slightly different societies than what we have right now. They're like what's considered quote unquote normal to what is every day.
Trying to blend in with the neighborhood and people blend in.
Clubs, cliques.
Yeah.
Click.
Yeah, I'd say someone who thrives off of relationships with other people. I think that's really important.
Outcast in the family, maybe. The black sheep.
But creating your own family, your own group.
Yeah, outside, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Maybe a little sarcastic.
Musical.
But The Lord of the Rings is so epic. There's like an epic quality. I mean, it's practically a biblical story.
Anyone else?
They,
like the mystery.
Yeah, and a lot of those movies, they change people around them. So they're brave and do their art or tell the truth about, you can wipe more than the counter here, and everything changes.
Likes to solve a mystery too.
Yeah.
Now, Sarah, can you please tell me, how does your childhood book, please tell me how that resonates with the themes of your movie?
How the book does?
Yes.
I mean, Sherlock is a little quirky. He has heroin addiction, and yet people still like him, but they think he's weird. He's made his own family out of Watson, and then trying to understand.
Did you guys hear that? He makes his own family. You don't hear that, Vein of Gold?
Yeah.
Sarah, did you get that?
Yeah. Just jotting it down.
And see, that's why the childhood book, and you guys, if you guys look at your childhood book and you go, I don't really get it, let me tell you, go and read your childhood book. When I went back and read Wrinkle in Time, I hadn't read it since I was in the 5th grade. And then when I discovered this tool and I went and read my childhood book, I was in hysterics because it was actually the autobiography of my life in so many ways. And you guys are going to find that in your Vein of Gold. That's why your Vein of Gold is so rich. That's why these movies and these books are so important, because they give you it's like playing a great game of Clue with your artist. And when you start to discover it, you'll go, oh my God, like what we just discovered with Sarah about, the person that creates their family. That is a rich, and Sarah, if you're looking at characters, that's the type of thing you want to find. Parts where people are finding their niche and their clique, So I want to know, did you bring a monologue?
I did. I didn't practice it, but I have one.
Well, what I want to know is now that you know the information you know about Vein of Gold, tell me, why do you think it is your Vein of Gold or not?
I don't know. I'm very bad at figuring out what my Vein of Gold is.
Well, that's why we're taking this class. That's why you're all here. That's why I'm here.
The character is strong. She speaks her mind. She is sarcastic. A little bit outside of the norm, I guess, but still trying to fit in so desperately.
Well, that's your Vein of Gold. That you just described your Vein of Gold. So yep. Give me her. Lay her on us.
Okay. Gotta get it. Is it okay to swear here? I don't know.
Yes. Hell yes.
Let it out.
I swear like a sailor. I'm like, I was trying to be quiet.
Didn't you read one of my scripts this week? Or I heard. So I love swearing.
True. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I think that's how you're supposed to start these things. I'm only going on what I've seen in the movies. Then I think I'm supposed to tell you how long it's been since my last confession. But that's kind of my first confession. I'm not a Catholic. I really don't know what I'm supposed to do except sit here and tell you what I've done wrong. So here goes. I've been pretending to be how would you put it? In a Catholic words, a harlot. It's not like I've actually been doing the things that they say I've been doing, but then again, I'm not denying them. So I've just been wondering, is that wrong? There's a lot of bad stuff going down at my school, which may or may not have been indirectly because of this masquerade. I'm lying. You caught me. I mean, I have caused the end of a marriage. In my own perverse way, I thought I could help it. In my defense, I might talk like an adult, but I'm merely an adolescent. I should never have even been propositioned in the way I was propositioned by an adult. But then again, I should never have consented. It was just that a lot of people have been asking me to do things, and I thought it was okay because it wasn't real. It was make-believe, and no one was getting hurt. But a lot of people hate me now. I kind of hate me too. I could be wrong, but aren't you supposed to say something to me or ask me a question? Tell me to say like 10 Hail Marys, pay a fine, or advance token to the nearest railroad? Hello? Oh, fuck me.
Yay.
Nice. See, you're gonna when Sarah, when you look at your vein of gold more this week, you're gonna see that that monologue is absolutely in your wheelhouse.
Okay.
With some more work and refinement, you're gonna find it's so much in your vein of gold, and it's absolutely was that from Heather's, by the way?
No, it's from Easy A.
Okay. Okay. It's so much you, and I sense that. Okay, so I think you picked correctly. I think you're gonna work on this. Okay, now I want Elena. Elena.
I don't know what to start with.
Why don't we start with tell me your one inner cast.
I have so many notes on my desk.
Okay, well, you know what? You want me to come back to someone else?
No, it's okay.
Okay, so tell me your one inner cast.
The yes sayer, because when I'm very excited, I always say yes to everything, but then I regret that. So I want to take that back.
Great. All right. Tell me your mentor.
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp. All right. Now, I want you to tell us your five favorite films and your favorite childhood book.
Okay. Parasite. Itaewon Class. It's a series, and it's about a story about reaching your dreams and second chances. The main character that I relate a lot to, he
okay, wait, Elena. We don't want you to explain them to us. I just want you to tell us them. Okay. And
okay, I only wanted to explain because I don't know if you know about it.
Okay, we will ask you if we have questions. Okay.
Okay.
So
okay.
Five favorite films.
Okay, Parasite, Itaewon Class, Black Swan. I don't know how to pronounce that. The Mask.
Okay.
And 10 Things I Hate About You. And my favorite book is not a childhood book because I didn't used to like reading when I was small. So it's The Alchemist.
Okay. Okay. All right. So everybody tell her her vein of gold.
She wants to stay under the radar.
Okay.
I think in Black Swan and 10 Things I Hate About You, what you originally see is very different than what really happens at the end. You know, like they hate each other, but then they find things that they do like. And the Black Swan, I don't really get the movie. It's very interesting, but there's a lot of changes. Yeah, or change in perspective, and
trying to hide herself, her true self.
Yeah, I kind of feel like hiding who you are, and then just at some point an explosion.
Nice.
Fighting for the right things.
Yeah, I was gonna say Driven.
Yeah.
Agrees with everyone.
And Elena, I'm sorry, did you say The Mask or
Yeah, The Mask. That's why I said fighting for the right things. Yeah.
The Mask. Oh, with Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey.
Oh
okay.
yeah, The Mask.
Yeah. So yeah. Emotional, hiding who you really are.
But then they get superpowers, like the mask makes you really funny and brings out that real you. Like you can't keep it down.
Exactly.
It's gonna come out.
Yeah, that's kind of what happens in Black Swan too. Like,
Yeah.
the more he dives into this character, the more this inner thing comes out of her, something that was hiding.
Yeah, even in 10 Things I Hate About You, it's very similar to that too.
Yeah, she's trying to be really mean so she'll protect herself, but then she's got this really sweet inner side, and she finds out it's okay. There's nice people around.
Untrusting.
And Elena, what do you like about The Alchemist? What is it about that book that resonates with you?
that at the end of it, it's actually the treasure was within the character all the time. He
So-
was looking for it, but
Okay,
it wasn't
okay.
him.
Okay, so do you guys hear that? Elena, that is your vein of gold. The character, it's always inside. The treasure is inside, which is so funny because that's what the vein of gold is. And you're sitting, that is your personal vein of gold. And that's what all your films are about. They find this inner treasure, this inner thing, right?
Mhm.
That's absolutely great. Okay, do you have a monologue?
Unfortunately not.
Okay, find one this week.
Yes.
That'll be your homework. And I want to move on, and we might run a tiny bit over, and I apologize, but I want to get everybody in. Okay, I want to go to Miss, wait a minute, wait for it. Ashley?
Hello.
Hi. Okay, Ashley, please tell me your inner cast member.
Tantrum Tammy.
Okay. Okay. Tell me your mentor.
Yeah. I don't really see like myself similar to her. I just really look up to her, Linda Etter. I love her.
Well, I bet if you, I'll just say this, look into her career and you might be more like her than you think you are. I actually know Linda. I actually have, so look at that, because you guys, sometimes we'll think we're way off, but really we're right on. Okay, so the point of this stuff is not to really analyze it, but to feel it. Okay, so Linda Etter is a perfect role model for you. And you got talent to back it up. I know. I'm sorry. I worked with Ashley. I know, so I can talk a little bit about her talent because she has the talent to back it up. Would you please tell everybody your 5 favorite films and your favorite childhood book?
I added a few musicals because I'm just not. I'm like a weird non-movie person, but I like Aladdin, Enchanted, Anastasia, Jekyll and Hyde, Bonnie and Clyde, and West Side Story.
Okay. Whoa. What's your favorite childhood book?
It was The Giving Tree.
Oh. Okay. Okay. Now what I want to do is, would you please read your list again, read it a little slower, and then read your childhood book again. You have a great vein of gold.
It's Aladdin, Enchanted, Anastasia, Jekyll and Hyde, and West Side Story.
Okay. Favorite childhood book?
Oh, The Giving Tree.
Okay. All right, guys, unmute and let her have it.
Strong female leads who don't realize how strong they are.
They're in another world outside at their element, but they find a lot of strength.
Closeted outlaw.
Sense of identity. Who am I? Asking the question, who am I? Repeatedly.
There's something amazing inside, and you're trying to find it, or or someone's helping you to bring it out.
Kind of a young innocence, like an Enchanted and Aladdin, like really, even if they're a criminal, they're just trying to help others, or childlike.
Rebellious.
There's this element of sacrifice too, which very much goes with the giving.
The Inside Story, it would be like driven towards love.
Looking for love.
Yeah.
Larger than life emotions.
Anyone else?
Oh, and finding love in unexpected places. A princess and a thief, Enchanted with someone in a non-cartoon world, West Side Story in the middle of a fight.
I see Ethereal.
Yeah, and I see very funny. Yeah, really goofy.
Tormented too, a little bit.
Yeah.
Two opposing forces, two dynamic forces.
And maybe the world not knowing who she really is.
And I'm going to ask a question of you, Ashley. Who do you relate to in the giving tree? Do you relate to the boy or to the tree?
I guess it depends where I am in my life. I think as a kid, I related more to the little boy, and now I kind of relate to the tree a little.
And the reason I ask that is because I intuitively sense that, and that's a very, very interesting vein of gold to dig for. And if you read my book, you're going to find that one of my other vein of gold list, I actually list the giving tree. And that is actually one of the questions I've always asked myself. Which character am I? Am I the tree that constantly gives, or am I the boy that constantly takes, you know? So it's an interesting vein of gold that I think you want to look at. Do you have a monologue?
I do. I chose Irina from the Three Sisters.
Okay.
Okay. Throw me out. Please, just get rid of me. I can't stand it anymore. Where is it? Where did it all go? Oh my God, I've forgotten everything. My head is all mixed up and I can't remember the Italian word for window or ceiling. And I keep forgetting things every day. I forget more and life goes on and it won't ever come back. And we are never going to Moscow, never. I can see it all now. We are never going to get there. God, I'm so unhappy. And I can't work anymore. No, I won't work anymore. I'm sick of it. I've had enough. I worked at the telegraph office and now I work at the municipal building and I despise it. I hate everything I have to do there. I'm almost 24 and I've been working all this time and my brain has shriveled up and I've lost my looks and I've gotten old and nothing. There's no satisfaction in any of it and the time passes and you realize you'll never have the beautiful life that you dreamed of and you just keep digging yourself deeper and deeper into a hole. God, I'm in despair. I am really in despair.
Okay, that absolutely was really a great monologue for you, and I think it's your vein of gold. And you know, when you first said you were going to read it, I was going, "Oh my God, the Three Sisters!" I was going to immediately say, "Pick something new," but I think for you, this is your vein of gold, and I think you need to. I think you want to stay on this because I think you're going to get a lot of mileage out of this monologue because I think so much of it is you. Okay, does that make sense? Okay. Okay, so I want to go on to, I'm sorry we're running a little late, but I do want to get the last two people in. Samantha, darling.
Yeah, my phone is about to run out of charge.
Oh my God. Okay, can we start with you next week then?
Yeah, that
Okay.
sounds nice.
Carol.
Okay. So my movies.
Wait a minute. Wait.
My people, my personalities.
Yeah, tell me the inner cast.
The mother lioness.
Yeah.
And I think Steve Martin.
Oh.
Now, go ahead.
My movies, or did you have another thing?
What? Movies.
Grease, Overboard, 13 going on 30, It's a Wonderful Life, Singing in the Rain, and I should probably say Thelma and Louise.
Favorite childhood book?
Well, to be honest, I didn't read much, but I had a book of Greece with all these little bubbles and pictures, and I read that a lot.
Was there any characters in that childhood book?
Well, it was the script of Greece with pictures.
Oh, Greece.
Yeah.
I thought you said wreaths, like Christmas wreaths. I was like, wow, that's interesting. Okay, Carol, now for everyone, I want you to read your list again, please.
Okay, Grease, Overboard, 13 going on 30, It's a Wonderful Life, Singing in the Rain, Thelma and Louise, and the book was Grease.
Okay, everybody unmute and give Carol her vein of gold.
Fun.
Fine.
Adventurous.
Out of their element.
Oh,
Outlaw. Outrageous.
Classic.
Changing character.
Childlike. Loves her inner child.
I love that.
Cartoon.
Ooh.
Animated character.
Abandoning your old self for your new self. Mistaken identity.
I was thinking that too.
Interesting.
Trying to run from any issue.
That's so me.
Two against the world.
Mm.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
Good one.
Can I?
Joy in what is.
What's your favorite character in Grease, Carol?
Well, Sandy going from sweet to slut. That was fun.
That's Thelma and Louise right there.
Oh, that too. You're right.
Oh my goodness.
Talk about
Lioness is Lioness is your stripper name.
Who knew?
So maybe that wants to be two different things. Took a lot of spandex to create that slutty scene. Took a team to get that body to get in there.
That's true.
What she said.
Took a team.
So Carol, does that resonate with you? All the things.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
And do you have a monologue?
Well, when you said vein of gold, I grabbed another one, so I'll do it next week.
Okay, so you guys, what we're gonna do next week is we're gonna start with Samantha, and then I'm gonna go to Carol, and we're gonna finish off their monologues and their vein of gold. And since we're kind of done, and you guys, thank you for going so deep with this material and being so brave in showing me those monologues and being willing just on our second session to go fully out on a limb and expose your truth, because that's, to me, that's what makes great acting, is showing your truth or the character's truth, like I said in our first session. And you guys are all so willing to go there. And as we progress, you're going to go deeper and deeper into your vein of gold. And I want you to look at those inner characters this week. And I also want you to look at your mentor and really look at not only why that person is your mentor, but how you can emulate that mentor for your career. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So your homework is going to be kind of simple this week, but it's going to be fun. I want you to come in dressed as one of your inner cast members. So
Oh my God.
you guys have to come in dressed as one of your inner cast members. Now, the sky's the limit there. You can go all out, or you can just do a representation of it. But I want you to come in dressed as one of your inner cast members, and you get to pick. It doesn't have to be the one that you told us about. It could be a total different one on your list, but come in dressed as one of your cast members. Do you guys have any questions?
Well, some family might be over for Thanksgiving, Stephen, so that'll be fun. To dress, especially the serial killer.
Well, well, Carol, you don't have to come dressed as Sandy.
No.
You don't have to come in with
spandex.
No, you do. You do.
Yeah, you do.
You do.
We want to see it.
Yeah. So you guys, like I said, you guys pick what you want to bring in. If you guys have family or whatever, just do a representation or just do a part of a costume. I just want to see sort of what's in the closet of one of your inner cast members. Okay, so this is about revealing your character, as well as sort of preparing you for how you approach acting and putting together a character. Okay, so you guys did a wonderful job. You guys are all awesome. Have a great week. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I will see you back here next Sunday.
Got it.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye.
Be safe.
Bye.
Yeah.
Enjoy, everybody.
Bye.
Good night. See you later.
Later.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.